Welcome back to the Eric Krown Crypto channel. Wishing you a happy and healthy start to the site's Monday morning over here from Helsinki, Finland. A lot to be speaking about today on the higher term timeframes as we follow up on these slowly but surely maturing setups that we have been following for the past couple weeks now. Other than that, I wanted to make a quick announcement before I actually have to go to have a bit of a follow-up on my last surgery, my little hand transplant over here. My little seeds are growing slowly but surely, and that is for the Bybit link for the 0% maker fees that we've had here through that link. For the past few days, it actually hasn't applied, and so I reached out to my Bybit manager, and he assured me that it was a mistake. And what's going to happen is for anyone who signed up with that, you're going to get an extra 30 days, so you get 60 days in total of 0% maker fees, which, in my opinion, that's like actually a really good deal and something that I'm comfortable and happy to promote because that's just more money in your pocket basically. For anyone else who signs up after this, I think after today, then you'll just get 30 days, still pretty damn good. And basically the reason that we got that is because I agreed to join the World Series of Trading. So we actually need a full team. You don't actually have to, participate if you don't want, but it would be nice to have a full team, of which I think we need like 1 or 2 more people. There is a link in the description below as well. Other than that, no pressure, of course. And I think it's time to actually get into the content. So let's start it off with the heavy hitting stuff right off the bat right here. The big stuff that we have been kind of focusing on for the past week and a half now, actually 2 of them really are becoming more and more relevant here, statistically speaking. So this would be the first one. This would be the daily stochastic momentum oscillator levels, of which we have hit a historical level down here on CME specifically. So with that in mind, this level has really only been hit a few times, well, more than a few times in history, actually 7 to be exact, not counting our current one. And what I've done is I've done an analysis on all of them, taking the averages of the bounce that typically or the bounce that happens after them and how long that takes. So again, I'm just marking off this extreme low level over here, and all of these green vertical bars represent that. And what are we looking at? Well, over the period of the past, of the genesis from when CME was created, on average, we have seen these bounces play out for about just under 31%. And the time taken once we actually get the cross the upside was about just over 14 days, so just over 2 weeks. So this is, still going to take at least until probably middle of July. And that is an average after all, meaning that, there's going to be some that are a little bit on the higher end, some a little bit on the lower end. So in this case right here, we did get the closure on CME coming in from Friday that does maintain daily stochastic momentum levels to the upside here. And as long as Bitcoin on CME is closing above 20,132, or basically just 20,150, let's say, that will be remaining with upside posturing and likely does present the opportunity for at least a bit of a short-term relief bounce. Now, 14 days, 2 weeks, might even be a little bit on the upper end of that. Doesn't mean that all of that, historical average is likely to happen, right off the bat here. It's probably going to take a bit of time. If I had to guess, it's probably going to coincide with the economic data coming out next week, because I believe there's a lot of events. I think Jay Powell speaking. I think there's like CPI, PPI, whatever the fuck, all these acronyms coming out next week, probably going to drive the markets. And until then, I imagine we probably just play up to short-term time frame ranges here. So with that in mind, just kind of playing around with numbers and taking the averages of this from the actual cross itself would be right here. And let's just see what would basically 15% look like. That brings Bitcoin up to basically our current daily range highs at about $23,500. If we were to play all the way up towards the historical average of that, just under 31%, actually brings Bitcoin back up towards that last CME gap that we had coming in from June 10th, that is, upon closure. So I do want to once again be on the record as saying that while Bitcoin, there are indications that it does trade to the upside here, I do not believe that the low is in, or at least time-wise, based off of the analysis that we did yesterday on the macro video. I do think that it's still likely to, at best case scenario, is sideways in a range for at least the rest of summer, between about 30,000 high and let's say like $16,000 low. Bitcoin can do something like that. That would be very constructive in long term. I would probably be quite comfortable calling it a macro low. But until then, that's in the cards for right now. Just needs to maintain closures above that region. Otherwise, that will be lost. And of course, we still have this to be speaking about over here as well. So this was combining the daily mean reversion play based off of the BBWP indicator, which is a volatility indicator, coming off of extreme highs right here. And what we found is that when we see extremes on volatility, essentially, there's typically a mean reversion play for that, where price action will, essentially kind of undo the move a little bit, that is. For example, I'll give you this one right here that happened not so long ago in May. You'll notice that we see the BBWP go from extreme low to extreme high. This is what we're looking for right here. Obviously, we also had another signal for this one over here. That's, well, I mean, it's just not relevant right now. It was very, very relevant back there. That's why we were, quite bearish in that consolidation. But in this case over here, what I'm talking about as this signal matures is I'm talking about the BBWP getting a negative slope, getting below the moving average, which is the white moving part on this, and then the moving average also getting a negative slope. This would be like the full-on confirmed signal right here that we saw from middle of May, basically. Well, we're getting the same thing over here. It's slowly maturing. I still think it probably has like another day or two, if I had to guess. Maybe starts, edging its, stepping its way today. But yes, the daily BBWP is below the moving average, and both of them do have negative slopes. Just want to see a bit more divergence between the two. So maybe like Tuesday, Wednesday, we start to see that evolve a little bit more. But in this case, what we've also noticed, based off of the, well, basically all of the iterations here from the past, from the history of CME, you will very, very quickly notice that there is an average on these mean reversion plays, which was about 15.25%. Now, again, I would argue that this signal over here, because it was so extreme on the expansion, probably going to be a bit more extreme on the mean reversion as well. So I'm still looking at that as more likely to play probably in alignment with what we saw over here. So that's why I'm also referencing that. And there's a lot of variance in these signals as well. I mean, just for example, right here, we had 35%, right? So it could very easily play, to the upper end of that. The average days taken about 11.5, and stochastic momentum oscillator has gotten the correct direction 82% of the time. And what do you know? As we already identified, it remains the upside as long as Bitcoin's above 20,150 or so on a daily closing basis. So that's really, 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 really important here. And it goes to say, and essentially that is to say that as long as Bitcoin is above that level, I do look for things to kind of grind their way sideways and up from here, probably up to the daily range highs, and then maybe more if we do see a closure above there to the next, actually quite impressive target in the deep 20s, like maybe even 30. So with that in mind, let's now get into the shorter term timeframes. I think I have my chart over here. Here we go. And you can see extremely low BBWP on the low term timeframe, like a bi-hourly, and it's starting to expand from here. So I do think that we're maturing for right now on the short term timeframes, getting ready for a move. There's a little bit of a crown cross the upside, kind of. Actually, yes, let's just, no, there's no hidden bullish evidence, or a little bit, but fine enough. Just want to see a closure above that 3 level. 21.3. And I'd be looking for a retest of these highs over here, 21.7, 21.8 region. And then very likely, Bitcoin does make a move up towards the short term. I think it was like a 12-hour level. Yeah, right around here at about 22.3 or so. Probably plays out a short-term pullback, and then perhaps sets up for a move to the daily range highs maybe later this week, which would be like your mid 23s or so. Other than that, it should also be known on the 12-hour, we're actually seeing expansion from extreme lows yet again over here. And I do think it would be worthwhile to maybe reference low-term timeframe stochastic momentum. Let's see. 6-hour remains the upside as long as Bitcoin's above basically 21,000 or 20,850. 4-hour remains the upside as long as Bitcoin's above 21,150. A little bit closer there, to be fair. 3-hour, same thing, above 21.1, and hourly is to the upside as long as Bitcoin's above 21.1. So even the very, very short-term timeframes, you could look at 21.1 as like a, a little bit of a cautionary signal. Personally speaking, I don't look at this as like a failure on the short-term timeframes, and would probably bleed into the higher-term timeframes as well until Bitcoin comes back down and specifically closes a full hour below 20,600. If and when that does happen, I'd be looking for another retest down around here at minimum. So that'd be between about 19.5 to basically 20, and maybe new lows after that, because there would technically be many drives of hidden bearish divergence here, which would then be confirmed. Same thing on the 12-hour as well. So that's still present. There is still a threat of that move. I just think it's less likely based off the other things right now, and contingent upon validations below that levels that we gave out earlier. So I think that's a good place to probably leave off on this video. I want to keep this one nice and short and sweet. I uploaded a video just this morning actually on like just a strategy. I literally just gave a strategy out there. From one of my upcoming programs, or my only upcoming program, because I don't have like multiple, but but yeah, if you are going to go and gamble in the old gambling tournament, feel free to use that. It'll actually hopefully give you safe and give you something resembling a baseline, and you can iterate upon that and create other strategies based upon that as well, and optimize it basically. So hopefully that was helpful. I'm going to be signing off now. I desperately need to get to the doctor, and take care and see you hopefully soon.